Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. Today guys, we're going to be diving down into some altcoins that I am personally accumulating and coins that I think, if you're not already aware of, I think are going to have some fantastic upside. As we get into this video, if you do find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe. Tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you are going to be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Right, with all of that said, done, and out of the way, let's jump on down into the desktop and let's actually take a look at these altcoins that I think you might want to be aware of, and what I think is actually likely to happen, in terms of an upward swing. Okay, guys, I'm going to go and just go through some obvious ones that are not inside this list, right? So Cardano, really, I have a fantastic position in this one. I'm not looking to accumulate anymore, but it is, of course, way down here at this low threshold of 97.7, which is the area that I did see this kind of bouncing from. Anyone in our Patreon group yesterday will know that that's what I was calling out. And I don't, I could quite easily stack up more, but I'm perfectly happy with my position. So I'm not actually buying more Cardano at the moment, but this might be something that you want to pay attention to. The same thing also for Elrond and eGold. Really like this protocol. Fantastic. So much going on for it. I'm really happy with my position, so I'm not extending this one any further. But this price right now is an absolute steal, in my opinion, for the upward swing that it's looking like. On the same kind of note, I've got a really good position in Polkadot. There are a couple of things that I are slightly concerned with on Polkadot side of things, but ultimately, I still think this has got some serious potential to it. So again, I'm happy with my position and I'm not accumulating this one. The same thing for XRP. It's moved right up here now. Really happy with everything that's been going on with XRP in the sense of my position. Obviously, the SEC, the lawsuit, all of that kind of stuff. It has got a big cloud on it, but nonetheless, these altcoins I think are fantastic if you're looking at several different altcoins that you want to be looking at. Cardano, eGold, DOT, XRP, they're all fantastic. And these ones are outside of my list, right? So I'm going to go into now my list of what I am actually accumulating, right? So the first one is Chainlink, and I really like Chainlink for several reasons. And the trader in me, I'm not an active trader, but there's always that part of you that always thinks buy high, buy low and sell high, right? And the part of me there looks at Chainlink, and the volatility is really attractive proposition from a trading perspective. So obviously where we are right now is a really low point for Chainlink. It's actually going down below $15. And this is a huge opportunity, in my opinion, to stack up some Link at these prices, right? And I've been accumulating all the way down here and just dollar cost averaging Chainlink because I really do think that this has serious potential. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just shoot on up a second into a daily view, and I want to show you the volatility that you have here with Chainlink. You have a 72% drop here. This was March of 2020. We all know what happened there. And then we've got this huge surge up, right? Up here in August of 2020, we fell down 63% before rallying up again. We actually inside here from November through to the lows of December, we dropped 50% for Chainlink, and then we continued to run up. We then pulled back 43% and we continued to run up. We then dropped back 74%. Similar to what we kind of had over here. And then we ran up 172% from that bottom. Then we pulled back down another 60% and rallied up. Again, that was an 86 bump from there. And right now we're actually tracking a little bit lower. Let me find that's a bit on the lower side. I think we're somewhere around here, about 49-50%. So this kind of retracement is very significant. After all of these kind of levels of retracement, we've seen a significant push to the upside. So for Chainlink, there's obviously the long-term aspirations of just hodling it, and there's also the trading aspirations as well. So if you're looking at trading, Chainlink is something you're going to want to pay attention to because that volatility is real opportunity. As long as you time things right and you've got your wave counts, or you're looking at good, strong support and resistance, MACDs, moving averages, whatever your bag is in terms of trading, there's something here for Chainlink for sure. Now, if you're a long-term player, we can obviously zoom right out and we can see the potential in this, from this pullback here. I still think this has got a really good run still to come as we kind of kick things into gear in the next step. $124, I wouldn't be surprised, and there's potential to go way higher than that as well. And I think on our daily, here we have 181 dollar target at our top end on our conservative side. So right now this is actually looking really, really good. We also have good strong support with a descending trend line here, so that we're waiting for a bit of a break on this, and this could be A, B, C, D, E, so forth. So watch out for that. I think there's something here: A, B, C, D. This could be E, and then we look for that break. So if there's a bit of a triangle in this last little step here for Chainlink. So that's my first one. Obviously, I think I've spoken about this quite a few times. I'm very active on the Chainlink kind of side of things within our Discord server. So if you're not down there, check that out. And if you're looking for more in terms of the kind of the technical analysis, the AMAs and stuff, then check out the Patreon service down in the description down below. Right, so that's the first coin. The second one we don't talk about all too often. And that is 𝗗, right? I still continue to buy up 𝗗. I really like everything that is going on with crypto.com. Obviously, they're a sponsor of the channel, so we can't do technical analysis, and we can't really talk about price appreciation and stuff like that. It's not part of our it's in our terms and conditions that we just simply cannot do those things. So there's no technical analysis that I can do on this one, but I will tell you that I'm stacking this up. I think this has huge potential. There's a lot of fundamental things that are going on with crypto.com. We obviously have the Kronos network that went live, and the implications of that is going to be absolutely vast in a very similar way that you saw things go live with the Binance Smart Chain, for example. We saw BNB and the things that happened there. But for 𝗗, I think has immense utility associated with it and Kronos, but also everything else that crypto.com are doing on their platform. So with all those kind of partnerships, sponsorship deals, the naming of arenas, they are really seeking to get crypto mass adoption, and they're spending a significant amount of cash on doing just that. So the marketing campaigns behind crypto.com are absolutely fantastic, and they are really helping to push things further forward. So obviously the 𝗗 tokens in my portfolio, I'll continue to stack it up in my portfolio, and I think it's going to do incredibly well, but I cannot actually do any technical analysis because of our contract with crypto.com. So I will move swiftly on to the next coin, which should be no-brainer, guys. It's obviously 𝗗𝗓𝗏. 𝗗𝗓𝗏 is a project that I think is going to do incredibly well. And there is a little bit of room to the downside still, and we kind of called this out yesterday. We had this area here. Again, in our Patreon group, I was calling out 16.1. I'm not sure how low this got today so far. 16.3. So effectively, I think there's this really optimistic kind of buy zone down here. And this particular area, I do think is going to be an area that we want to be focusing in on, because I think 𝗗𝗓𝗏, everything that they're doing, they're spending millions upon millions of dollars to progress their DAOs and to progress protocols or projects building on their protocol, and obviously the bridge with Bitcoin, Ethereum, and it's the start of something pretty big here with 𝗗𝗏𝗏. So I do anticipate this doing really, really well. So obviously we have that little bit of a buy zone just right now, right? At the point of this video going out, we should be right in this spot, potentially even moving away from it a little bit. But if we actually come up into our daily view, we can actually see what's going on here. So 𝗗𝗏𝗏 has performed incredibly well from when we first started talking about this back in 2020. So let me find it. I've got it up here. So if we actually take it from our low point down here through to that high point that was just in, I think that was April or May. Let me just check the date on that. March even. It was I think it was 18,000%. Yeah, 18,800%. So significant gains were made. Like, it outperformed all those other platforms like Bitcoin and Ethereum, Cardano. It's outperformed Polkadot, Algorand, any of those kind of players that you might consider a smart contract platform or something to that effect. But nonetheless, this kind of performance hasn't slowed down either, because we had a little bit of a pullback here, and then we continue to surge to the upside. And I still think this here is a corrective phase within this next leg to the upside, right? So this fifth wave is going to be quite significant in my opinion. And this entire move here could be an A, this could be a B, and this could be a C, or this could be absolutely tiny in comparison, and this is actually just a really small wave 2 before a surge for wave 3. So there's some interesting stuff going on here for 𝗗𝗏𝗏, and I think long term, we've obviously said 96.5 is where we kind of see it topping out, but it has true potential to potentially go higher than that. So as we kind of think about ending this bull run, I am accumulating more 𝗗𝗏𝗏 at these prices. I actually part of what we do with our Patreon members is talk about where we exit and the different strategies that we have. And I've been basically dollar cost averaging Harmony 1 since I think 30 cent on this downward trend after reaching I think 37, something like that. So from here we've basically I've just been dollar cost averaging on the way down here, and I do expect this to absolutely launch to the upside in a really strong way. So one to watch out for if you're not already familiar with Harmony. Definitely do some research on it. They are literally you'll be surprised with what is being built on there, and there's a lot more than some of these other protocols that you're probably a little bit more well known. And they are moving mountains and pushing everything further forward in terms of adoption. 1 billion users is what they're really tracking here. So do check that one out. Obviously, we talk about Harmony 1 all the time, so you should be very familiar with it, right? So the next one I want to talk about is Anchor. Anchor is a project that I don't get, sometimes it gets a bad rep, but I think it's kind of misguided in a roundabout way. So here we obviously have probably one of the best performing assets within our portfolio for this bull run so far, and people still kind of hate on it a bit, right? So from March 2020 all the way down here, we actually saw this thing rise all the way up here to 33,000%. Okay, significantly outperforming most other assets. Matic did 43%, I think, 43,000%. But this one in our portfolio is definitely up there as one of the key performers. And in terms of like technical analysis and what I think is going on here, we obviously have that double top right there. And I think we could also revisit this low point just down here. This could be something on the horizon. And if we actually just take a look at this from a daily perspective here for Anchor, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We could see this this move coming in. I think that was, I have to just check to see if that isn't actually impulsive or not. No, it's not. So it's not impulsive, so we can actually avoid that. But we could also argue that this is an ABC, this is ABC up, this is ABC down. This actually might be the very bottom here already on this correction. So, double top, this was looking like a flat correction, like this, just up here. But that not being an impulsive move down, taking us into this lower range, it should be ABC, but you would actually expect this to be a 5-wave count, but that overlap is basically voiding. It makes that impossible from a 5-wave count perspective. So we might actually have 7 waves coming down here or something to that effect. If possible, or alternatively, as I said, this could be the bottom. At this point in time, that's very unclear. But one thing that I do know is that you have these kind of sideways trade moments with let me grab hold of my trend line with Anchor here, and as a result of it, what you actually find is these huge explosions that follow, right? So right inside here, this is basically wave 1 up, this being wave 2 down, and what we actually witnessed here was a fantastic opportunity, and we were in a different project at the time that we weren't overly happy with, and we actually exited out of that project here and got into Anchor in a bigger way. And then we rode this up massively. So this is something that we saw happening here, and the same thing that was happening here is happening over this side, right? So when we start thinking about where we are right now, this is actually a really reasonably low price, but it does have the ability to pull back down a little bit lower, in my opinion. But obviously, if we start tracking higher than this point, then that's that. We aren't going to come coming down to this point, okay? So we're very aware of that now. And what I think is actually going to happen after this, or next, I should say, is obviously the completion of that 5th wave, right? So here you have wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and then wave 5 comes after. And if we measure that distance from here to here, again, you get an idea that minimum requirement is 55 cent, but I still see this one going significantly higher than that. So the 5th wave, by the way, guys, I'd say normally it's the longest wave. It's normally the longest. Sometimes the 3rd wave is the longest. One thing you do know, and you can see it here on the Anchor chart, is the wave 1 is never the longest wave. And right now, I think that's actually on par with wave 3 quite a bit. So it could be quite possible that this 5th wave actually moves up to something like the 2.618. So we have an exit strategy on that, obviously, that we do share with the Patreon members, but that will be revisited if things here start to go absolutely impulsive to the upside in a really big way. But I do expect really big things for Anchor, and I think this is a fantastic accumulation point. Now, I haven't actually managed to hit any of my buy points just yet, so I am looking for it to come down into this lower range personally before I stack more Anchor. But saying that, I already have a pretty good position, so all this would be for me is an extension on my current position with Anchor. So right now, I'm okay if it doesn't come down here. So do really pay attention to any technical analysis that is out there for Anchor with these potential low points coming in, because we do have the ability to come down to 4.7 cent, but there's no guarantee of that. So we really have to now start counting these waves. Are we going to see 7 waves down in this kind of corrective pattern to then take us into the next impulsive move up, or is this actually the wave 2 here and actually is taking us up right now into these higher points? So one to watch out for, but I do think Anchor is going to do incredibly well. So the next one and the last one on the list is obviously VeChain. This is a project that gets a lot of bad press, and undeservingly so. There's very few projects doing just as much as VeChain is doing in the real world, and the level of adoption is absolutely insane. China absolutely loves VeChain, and obviously we know that China are bad on or kind of negative, I guess, on cryptocurrencies, but this is where VeChain has been positioned very differently to your standard project. It's a dual token system, and China are so bullish on the blockchain technology. What they don't like is the volatile cryptocurrencies, and VeChain have actually got around this by using a dual token system. So basically this is a bit of a longer term play, but I still think it's going to do incredibly well in 2022. So basically, we had about 18,000% in gains on this already, so it's already a very good performer, even though we've had this kind of downward trend here. Now, this is very corrective. It's all overlap. There's no trend to the downside. So this is all very, very corrective, and we are looking at new all-time highs very, very soon. Now, when it comes to VeChain, the VET token is the currency, okay, the store of value, and V4 is the gas token. So unlike Ethereum, where ETH is both the store of value and the gas token, you're able to actually get around that. So this is really important because VET can be held in a VeChain wallet called Sync2, and when you hold VET inside that wallet, you earn the cryptocurrency V4, and V4 can be used to pay for the gas fees on the blockchain. So if you're an enterprise, and there's many of them worldwide that are using VeChain tech, you are incentivized to hold VET to earn V4. And when you hold VET to earn the V4, you actually end up with a V4 that you can then use for your business. And you can use that for the transactions for traceability or DeFi or whatever it may be that you're actually building on the VeChain 4 blockchain. Now, what does that mean, and how does that actually get us to a point where VET actually appreciates? Well, VET is, as I said, the store of value. But obviously, with enterprises being incentivized to hold it, you could see the supply dwindle down over time. So the more enterprises that are on board, the more VET will get taken out of supply, out of circulating supply, and staked in the Sync2 wallet. And then as a result of that, if we start to see more demand for VET, the price will appreciate because there's a significant hit on the demand now, or on the supply, right? So it's all about supply and demand. Of course, there's a lot of speculative investors in VeChain, right? And as a result of that, the more speculative investors and the more enterprises that are on board, the biggest shock to the system it is for the supply of VET. And as a result of that, you start to see the price rise naturally. So on the longer terms play, right, multiple years, multiple cycles, I think VET is going to really shock people because that system that's been set up is very, very clever because it allows you to actually see true adoption of the blockchain technology and the natural progression of the assets that are associated with it. Of course, there's always going to be speculative investors as well, and for that, you do see some volatility that is going to potentially perform quite well to the upside. Now, obviously, here we have a pretty good run, and I do expect this thing to push up up towards that $1. There was actually a trend-based fib I had showing us from here to here to here, and I'll grab that now. So if I take this low point, take this high point, take this low point, but we've actually got no low point down here. You can actually see this goes up to $1.21. Okay, so we already know that there's a huge potential spike to the upside here. on the horizon. And obviously, you know, we want to dollar cost average out like we dollar cost average into the market. So, you know, we want to be selling on the way up. We don't want to be waiting for a single target. But I just wanted to highlight that, you know, the technicals here are indicating, and it's on the trends, right? This trend up. Sorry, let me actually show you this, right? It's this trend down, this trend up, and this trend down. Take all three of those into consideration and you get this. Okay, so for me, I've been buying up there. I really like it. I added a fair amount more to the portfolio at these prices because I do expect this thing to absolutely pop to the upside in a really unexpected way. So, you know, it's still possible that we drop down a little bit lower. But I think we might have actually started to reach a bit of a bottom here for VET, and there is the ability to pull back down a little bit lower. You can see that we're coming down towards this low target I had here, this actually being 4.9, but I think got in, I think about 5.4, somewhere in there, right inside this point. And that fifth wave is basically just come down here as well. So a little bit lower maybe, but we are of course oversold now. So I think we're getting to the close to the very, very bottom on the VeChain side of things. And there are of course these lower range targets, but like everything else, there's no guarantee that these will come in. The technical requirements for these could have already been hit at this point just up here. Of course, you know, there is still the ability to pull back down, but obviously the higher we go, and specifically if we cross 7 cent, the probability of actually coming down into this lower range becomes a lot less likely. So right now 4.9 seems to be the lowest point, and right now we're also tracking at 5.4 recording time. So this is actually a reasonable point. I wouldn't mind, you know, you're splitting hairs really by the point of coming into this smaller gap at the bottom. But yeah, guys, those are the 5 coins that I am actively buying up right now, right? These are the coins that I'm buying, and I'm communicating in our Discord server to all the members, so that they know what it is that we're stacking up and what we are really like super bullish on. But I also wanted to kind of highlight that there are, of course, a few coins that I would be buying up if I didn't already have a very significant position, right? So ADA, eGold, DOT, XRP, for example. The portfolio is actually reasonably large, and I do lose track of some of the coins that we actually own. But for the most part, these are the coins that I'm really focusing on right now. Things like Link, Crow, Harmony One, Anchor, VeChain. These are the projects that I think you know, my portfolio could benefit from in the short medium term. So guys, hopefully you have found this video useful and informative. If you have, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so you are going to be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Right, with all that said, done, and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.